then have like one people shoot water balloons at the tanks to see if we could destroy cardboard tanks. That would be so much fun. I have no idea how to accomplish that. That would be like, do you know how many boxes I would have to get donated to us and be like, all right, y'all need to figure out how to make a tank out of paper mache. Where in the world are we going to get paper mache? I don't know. Maybe we should chat GPT how to make this happen and we can see. Okay. He's sophomore. Because he did dual enrollment. So he got all of his freshman classes done here in high school. So when he got to, now he only has 3 years of college left. That's why I'm telling y'all, be smart, get your grades up so that you guys can, today, you know what he texted me? He sent a picture and he goes, Mom, I don't owe anything for college because all of his scholarships and stuff covered everything. So I'm telling you guys, okay, we can make it happen. Yes, Nate, what you got for me? Huh? Oh, you do? Well, I will let you know if we're going to use them. Okay. That is not the right screen. Okay. We are on primary source number 2, and it's a source written by Helen Hunt Jackson. So we got lots of Jacksons. Okay. Oh, your slides for chapter 2 aren't even done yet. My goodness. I got some work to do already. That's not good. Well, you can always go back and watch the live.
You can always pay $5.
You actually lost the book?
No, like I know.
Oh.
But like I lost it. Yeah, Miss.
Like it's in somebody else's class?
Miss Fletcher's just like that too. You know, if you lose her book, you gotta pay her too. Yeah, you gotta pay her $1.
Well, this is the last thing we're doing this class. And so you can always go back and look at it. So we are reading our second, A Century of Dishonor. It was written in 1881 by a woman by the name of Helen Hunt Jackson. Okay. So obviously you can go ahead and write the title. Okay. And this is called, I'm going to give you the answer for the type of source. This is called a sketch, which is almost like an article kind of. All right. So she's writing an opinion based little letter article. Okay. On what is going on with the Native Americans. Okay. So yesterday we talked about someone that is writing very pro frontier, very pro settlers. Okay. And now we're talking about somebody who's very upset at what is going on with the Native Americans. She says, there are within the limits of the United States between 250 and 300,000 Indians, exclusive to those in Alaska. The names of the different tribes and bands as entered in the statistical tables of the Indian Office reports a number of nearly 300. There is not among these 300 bands of Indians one which has not suffered cruelly at the hands either of the government or of the white settlers. The poorer and the more insignificant, the more helpless the band, the more certain the cruelty and outrage to which they have been subjected. This is especially true of the bands on the Pacific slope. These Indians found themselves of a sudden surrounded by and caught up in the great influx of gold-seeking settlers as helpless creatures on a shore are caught up in a tidal wave. There was not time for the government to make treaties, not even time for communities to make laws. The tale of the wrongs, the oppressions, the murders of the Pacific Slope Indians in the last 30 years would be a volume itself. and it is too monstrous to believe. It makes little difference, however, where one opens the record of the history of the Indians, because every page and every year has its dark stain. The story of one tribe is the story of them all, varied only by the differences of time and place. But neither time nor place makes any difference to the main facts. Colorado is as greedy and as unjust as 1880, as Georgia was in 1830, and Ohio in 1795. And the United States government breaks promises now as deftly as then, and with an added ingenuity from long practice. What do you guys think Helen Hunt Jackson is saying? Any guesses? Before I translate it, any ideas?
No, translate it now, please.
Now listen here. We are going to start to get into some modern language, okay? There are some things I'm going to go, I know you guys understand this. Okay. So let's go back up to the top. What is she saying? She says, from ocean to ocean, right now, the United States government counts about 300,000 Native Americans alive, but it doesn't count the ones living in Alaska. Okay? So all of that are upwards of Canada and Alaska, we are not counting those. All right? Just the ones that are here ocean to ocean. And of those 300,000 Native Americans, we have written down that they are from 300 different tribes. Okay? That is a lot less than what it was when we started. Okay? At the beginning, we're talking thousands of different tribes. So now at this point, she's writing it, there's 300. She said, there's not one of them, not one tribe that you can go to today and talk to that can't tell you of at least one instance where they have been tormented by the government or the white settlers. If the native tribe is small, if it is poor, if it is insignificant, if it's not known, if it's not a big deal, the way that they are treated is even worse than those that are known their names. They have bigger leaders or more people. If you are a smaller tribe, you are treated even worse. This is especially true of the bands on the Pacific Slope. So your Pacific Slope is talking about any of the tribes that are in Washington area, Oregon, California. So we're talking about this area of the country. If you do not know where those states are, we're talking about right here. Okay? If you are a big, huge, giant fan of Twilight, we're talking about Jacob's Native Americans, okay? She says, these natives have found themselves so suddenly surrounded by white people because of the gold rush that there wasn't even time for any of these tribes to create any agreements with anybody that was coming in because they came so fast. They say it came so fast and with so much disrespect that kind of creating any agreements on where they were going to live or how they were going to coexist together, it didn't even matter. The government could not make treaties. They couldn't communicate laws. Therefore, the settlers that got there took what they wanted, killed the tribes, killed the Native Americans, pushed them out, and nobody said anything. She said, basically, all of the information that I have, all of the stories, the letters, if I did only write a book on how terrible we treated the Pacific Rim natives, that would be its own volume of a set by itself because it's so bad. She says, it's too monstrous to be believed. It's so horrible. You may not even believe what we did. And we didn't even learn about those natives, did we? Okay, we didn't learn about them. She says it doesn't matter where you open the book of history of natives. Okay, if we open it in the back, if we open it in the front, if we open it in the middle, you are going to open that book, and every single page is going to have its dark stain. There's no place in time that you're going to be able to open it up where there's going to be a good story of white man and native. The story of one tribe is basically the same story as every tribe. But the only difference is the time, like the year, and where it happens. So she says, what is going on in Colorado in 1880? That's the same treatment that the Native Americans got in Georgia in 1830. That would be our Trail of Tears. Or 1795 in Ohio. That's after the war. We start moving into Ohio. The government breaks promises now as deftly as then, meaning the United States government is going to break promises as bad now as they did then. Which, Helen doesn't say this, but I did. Can we trust the government? No, we talked about that last year. Okay? All right, we don't trust the government. All right. So, the first thing that you do is you write the name of the source. Then, you decide what kind of source it is. In this instance, it's going to be other. It's going to be a sketch. Or you could also write article. Okay, they're kind of the same things. Then you're going to search this and you're going to find a sentence that you understand in Helen's words, but you're going to translate it into your words. All right. She is writing this in 1881. She's writing this in 1881. Mind you, Wounded Knee happens in 1889. So she's actually writing about how Native Americans are being treated so very poorly 8 years before Wounded Knee even happened. So there are some people that are out there who are advocating for the Native Americans and saying we got to stop this treatment. It's not good. Okay? There are people that are working for Native American rights. Do you remember women back in the 1830s, 40s, 50s? They're advocating for women's rights. They're advocating for African Americans' rights, abolition, right? A lot of the women were the reason there was a big, huge push for slaves to try to be free before the Civil War. So women are a guiding light in trying to get Native American rights. So the context here, your context question, what was happening at the time this is written? What is going on in the West? Okay, very good. Say that louder, Ryan. Okay, the government and white settlers are treating Native Americans very badly, very cruelly. Is that something that's just happening like right now? Or has it been happening for a while? It's been happening for a while. Years and years. You guys learned about it last year too. There might be one story in American history that you have ever been taught where white people and Native Americans get along. What is it?
The Lewis and Clark thing?
Okay, Lewis and Clark is actually, I wasn't even thinking about that one, but yes, we did work together with Native Americans. We get an entire week off of school for this celebration. My goodness, guys, Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, aren't you guys taught that the Pilgrims got here and then the Native Americans became their friends and then they all sat at a really long table and they ate turkey and cranberry sauce and pumpkin pie together? Okay. Lord have mercy. What did you guys think Thanksgiving was?
Where you eat canned yams, greens. I don't eat turkey.
You don't eat turkey?
No,
You eat ham?
Cranberry sauce.
You get the chunky cranberry or the smooth cranberry?
Smooth cranberry.
Yeah, smooth. Oh, I get a whole can for myself.
Yeah, a whole can.
You put the knife in there and it goes.
And cut it.
Yep. Oh yeah. I'll eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Stuffing. Okay. Cranberry stuffing on top of each other in the morning after.
Cranberry sauce and
Now you want to hear some? Well, I don't know. I'm going to say some crazy white people stuff because I feel like my family might have been the only one that ever did this. Okay. My grandma used to make mashed potato cakes in the morning the next day. So the pancakes would be in the fridge and they'd get real nice and cold, like leftover mashed potatoes. And so you'd roll them in a ball and flatten them. And then you put some butter on them and you would put them in the pan in the morning and they would have a nice crispy grill on them like a pancake in the morning. It was like a potato cake kind of thing. Am I the only crazy white people family that I am? See, I knew it was a crazy, yeah. Or it's a Yankee thing. Could have been a Yankee thing. Okay. You know, we aren't from the South. All right.
Like, do you have deviled eggs and all?
Oh, absolutely. Deviled eggs don't even make it to dinner. You gotta
make it to the table.
No, never. They're already gone. You better make 50 deviled eggs you having people over because 12 of them gonna be gone while you're making them. Okay. All right. So that part in history, right? We have this kind of legend, this idea that the Mayflower comes over and here they are, and they had this amazing relationship with the Native Americans. Okay, that was in 1620. Here we are in 1880, 260 years later, and we're just slaughtering them. Wow, how the turntables turn. Okay. Credibility. All right. This is Helen Hunt Jackson. She is writing this, so that's going to be your author, Helen Hunt Jackson. So the next question is, can we trust her? Now, we don't know very much about Helen Hunt Jackson, do we? Okay. So let me tell you what Google says about Helen Hunt Jackson because she wasn't in our book. And of course, we want to research to decide whether or not we're going to trust her. Okay? All right. So she was born in Massachusetts. She became a very large activist for Native Americans. She was always talking about how Native Americans were treated badly. She wrote A Century of Dishonor, which is what this is from. She was a poet, an author, a Native American activist. She was sent to private schools. She married a man in the military who was a lieutenant. She never really wrote with her own name early on, okay? Because more than likely because she was a woman and they didn't like to publish women. Okay, so she would use a man's name. She would use a man's name to cover it up. Okay, she went to a speech by the name of a guy, Chief Standing Bear. Okay, she went to a speech by Chief Standing Bear. She was so moved by his speech that this is what created her letter, The Century of Dishonor. And this Century of Dishonor that we just read is what helped create the association called the Indians' Rights Association. Okay, and so obviously that is an association that attempts to help Native Americans with their civil rights. So, can we trust Helen Hunt Jackson? Okay, tell me why. Hey, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Okay. I mean, I already pled my case. But remember, this is an opinion part. You guys could sit here and tell me I don't trust Helen. I still don't trust her. Even after I gave you that, then you better tell me why you don't trust her. Okay? But I want you guys to determine, do you trust? My friends in the back corner. Do we need to move? Okay. I just told y'all. I already wrote a behavior journal today. Y'all don't want to be the second one, right?
No, I don't want a behavior journal.
I'm not even talking.
Just tell Coach Lodge when you are suicide. Don't give me no.
Lose rage.
No, because you're saying that, I would absolutely give you a behavior journal. You don't tell what you'd rather have. That was silly.
She's too sweet, Michael. Michael, that's not her. It's not in her bag to do that.
Oh, it is absolutely.
It's not in her bag, Michael.
Listen, if he was legitimately absolutely terrified of running suicides, I would absolutely call and go.
Oh yeah.
But you what?
She made a whole.
But he literally was like, "Don't give me that behavior journal. I'll run suicides." Guess what?
You made the whole football team roll 400 yards.
I absolutely did.
We rolled
Because y'all were lying in 7th hour.
Because of Caden and him and Toby sleep. That's why y'all store for journal.
Y'all think I'm playing all the time.
I heard her. I was walking.
He always say, "I stopped to get water."
Yeah, I heard her tell me I knew what was happening.
Yeah.
The team had a huddle after lunch.
All right. All right. So cooperation is the next one. This means to collaborate, and who could have the same opinion. So have we learned about anybody in our book that might feel the same as Helen Hunt Jackson? Is there any people or groups of people that might feel the same as Helen Hunt Jackson? Take a look for me real quick at who you wrote down for collaboration on yesterday's primary source. Michael don't even have his book open, and he got a library book sitting on top of it. So, I'm telling him to look at a page, and he's like, "Yeah, you're right," and then he ain't even looking at that page. So,
you know what they were telling? I showed them my old journal of the 7th grade, and Miss Dyson said, "Let me see." She said, "You keep this?" I said, "Yeah, it can show me what my progress was from last year."
right. Okay, listen. Think about it. Who in this book believes the same as Helen Hunt Jackson?
Yeah.
Who?
I believe Helen Hunt Jackson.
But we're not on that one anymore. Y'all. We literally only talked about like 4 things. Huh? The government believes Helen Hunt Jackson? Because she's pretty much ripping the government apart. Okay, take a look at who you wrote in cooperation on the last one. That one was very pro-settlers. This one is very pro-who? Huh? Okay, so who do you think believes what Helen Hunt Jackson says? The Native Americans.
What color is Native Americans?
Huh?
What color is Native Americans?
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Like you're talking about skin color?
Yes, like are they Indian?
Some could be very dark brown. Some could be light brown. Huh? Are you? You would probably have to do your DNA to figure that out. Well, yeah, but you might have something hidden. I was told I was just straight Irish. I did my DNA. come to find out, I am Swiss.
You're Switzerland?
I have Switzerland
That's
DNA.
where those people from those
Now, granted, is that still an assorted whiteness? Yes.
Vikings.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, that's I was trying. It was in
So
my
why do you think I'm so tough? It's that Viking blood, right? Ragnar. Okay. I
I
know,
ain't never seen no Ohio person from Switzerland.
come from all over the place now. As my husband says, we are assorted crackers. All right. So the next one is cause and effect. What caused Helen Hunt Jackson to write this sketch? Yes.
Is it to like show, tell the people how Native Americans were getting bad treated?
Okay, she does want to do that. She does want to tell people. But when I just read you a little bit about Helen Hunt Jackson, what? Huh? It was a speech. It was a speech by who?
Helen Hunt.
Okay, it was a speech by a Native American chief, right?
Oh,
His name was Standing Bear. His name was Standing Bear, huh? It did. It moved her. She's reading this and he's telling all about how terrible life was. And it moves her to the core that now all of a sudden she starts fighting for their rights and she writes a century of dishonor.
First you got Bigfoot, now you got Barefoot. Wait.
Standing Bear.
Standing Bear.
Okay, so close reading. This is the one where you go back to the source, okay? And you're going to go, okay, what kind of words does she say that can kind of point me in a way of understanding what she means? So I'm going to give you guys a word that I found that I really think kind of helps point out some of the things that she's saying. And my word is helpless. Okay, that word really kind of stood out that she's describing Native Americans. So you need to go back through and you need to find some words that stand out to you that go, oh, this is important to understanding this source. Okay? And then your last question for your extended response is, of course, putting on your historical shoes and saying, what does this source tell us about the life, people, or government in early America? What is this going to tell us? If you put on your shoes and you're listening to Helen Hunt Jackson talk about this to you over a luncheon, what is it telling you about white settlers? What is it telling you about the government? What is it telling you about people? Give me something, okay, that you would feel while you're there. All right? So that is actually the last piece of chapter 1. Okay? Your next page is called the chapter reflection. This is where you go back. Hey, pay attention. This is where you go back and you answer your framing question. This is a paragraph. Okay? Now, you are not going to have a paragraph that is the same as my paragraph, right? But I expect it to be a paragraph. So to be clear, I'm going to show you. There's mine. Okay? I wrote the whole thing. It's all filled. So is one sentence going to cut it? No, one sentence is not going to cut it. I think I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 sentences here in my paragraph. Okay. And then, of course, you have your vocabulary at the bottom. Okay. I don't help you with this. Okay. So for the rest of class and tomorrow, okay, anything you need to catch up with, anything that you are confused about, anything that you have questions on, that is where you are coming to me and going, okay, I need to figure this out because your journal is due when?
Friday.
Again?
Test is Friday.
At the end of class on Friday.
Coffee.
At the end of class on Friday. And your test is also that day. There is a chance that your test will not be on Chromebook,
It's gonna be on paper.
that it will be on Scantron.
Oh, Scantron. Oh my gosh.
Ooh,
I feel like
ooh, I'm getting old. I just turned my head back towards you and it. Okay, does anybody have any questions before I shut the live off on this? All right,
I'm going to
perfect.
go see myself when I get
on-
home.
You are not supposed to be in this. My goodness.
I go home and go watch.
Hold on. There might be like 10 minutes of just nothing happening.
Hey, let me tell y'all this.
Let's see.